Hi, this is Farzeen and welcome to India Today. After a lot of content on Rajneeti, we are now going to talk about Ranneeti. How excited are you guys about the show? Everyone's talking about the trailer ever since it's dropped.
Yeah, I mean, we've been waiting ourselves quite a while for the show to come out, and it's finally here, 25th of April, dropping on JioCinema. Fantastic show, really big, massive show. I think the response that we received on the trailer has been really pretty phenomenal. And it's an amazing show, so we can't wait now to share it with the rest of the country.
Santosh, tell us a little more about the show.
I mean, we've been working on this for 2.5 years.
Wow.
And it has taken us that much time to get it correct and put it in front of the people. I think, now it's coming out. I think, whenever they see it, they'll see the amount of hard work that has gone into making of the show. Like, it has taken its time. A lot of things have come which are on the similar topics, but once they see this, they will realize it, how different it is than what is out already.
Yeah.
So a lot of research, lot of planning, lot of technical crew we had to assemble to achieve a lot of things into this thing. Nobody had no idea about how to shoot aircrafts and all those things. So so we had to pull in a lot of favors from a lot of people to make it the way it is. So very excited about it, and you guys have to see it now.
Lara, I was just reading an interview where you mentioned how such characters are usually portrayed by male, but when it comes to a female. So tell me, when the offer came to you, what was your first instinct like?
Yeah, it's amazing. See, all of us also who known about these incidences only saw whatever we were able to read or see that was put out there in the news, and the coverage that these incidences got, both the Pulwama attack and the Balakot airstrike. But you never really knew what happened between the days of 14th February when the Pulwama attack happened and 26th of February, which was, the retaliatory strike that Balakot was. And there was so much intrigue, and it was incredible to really hear and find out when Santosh sir approached me with this, to hear what all went on behind those closed doors, in those war rooms, the decisions that they were made, how India was also successfully able to carry out a strike like the Balakot strike. That story in itself was so much bigger and greater than just what we had seen as civilians, what we were, that we had seen and heard. That I think it was very intriguing for me. And then to play a character like Manisha Sehgal, who was right at the heart of spinning that narrative. I mean, Ranneeti has a wonderful line, right? Ki ek naya ran hai. And it's the war today is not only fought on the war front. It's not only fought on on ground. The perception of what a country wants the world to see visually, your entire reaction to whether a country is winning or losing a war is really based on what you see in the media today.
Absolutely.
Which is why Manisha Sehgal's line is there, that if it's on social media and if it's in the news, then it's real. Jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai, So to play a character like that, for me, I've never done something like this before. She's a power broker, she's ruthless, she's an incredibly smart woman, which is why she's called in to do, like you said, essentially what would be a man's job, in the world that we've known it as. So I think it's amazing that, Santosh sir and filmmakers felt that this character could be played by a woman, for them to even reach out to me. And personally, for me, the story resonated a little bit more because I come from a military background. So when the strike actually happened for us as the Indian Armed Forces, as the Indian Air Force, both my father and my sister are both pilots, it was a little too close to home. So I knew the story a little bit more intricately, possibly, than most other people. So it made sense for me to come in, and I wanted this story to be told. Yeah. It's being told fantastically, and it's amazing just to be a small part of that.
Absolutely. Santosh, of course, tell me, as rightly mentioned, that whatever happened was behind closed doors. Sure. Tell me about the kind of research that went into it to actually kind of put that out in the public and also show it the right way.
So I mean, this mission, whole thing is very classified. It's not out in the open. So we had to reach out to a lot of people who are connected to defense, the defense experts, the consultants, a lot of journalists we reached out to, got many versions, because again, it's a story which has multiple sources, multiple stories. So we collected everything, and we formed a a good team of writers, and we started writing it. So obviously, like, you know, what is out in the open, that is out in the open. But challenge was to, like, you know, what is not in the open, to show it, and, like, you know, with these beautiful characters and their personal journeys with the show as well. So I think that was the challenging part, to, like, you know, take all the source material, to all the research material, and to put it together and make a beautiful story, so that it's engaging and entertaining while it's credible and, like, authentic at the same time.
Yeah. And talking about perception, of course, every time there's a project that based on something war front, it automatically gets tagged as propaganda. How are you guys dealing with it? Because there's always that tag that comes along whenever there's a film based on something patriotic or something related to war.
I think once you see the series, you'll get to know it's not like, you know, we ourselves have a problem with this kind of thing. Like in the show also, we have taken a dig at it actually, like, you know, where, like, you know, movies are based on certain things and how we go hyper about it. For me and everybody in the, you know, whether the producers, whether it's the platform, whether actors we're working in, we're all very clear we're not going to go that route. Like, you know, we'll be very focused and it's a very thin line. See, like, it's a very thin line. So it's very hard to, like, you know, maintain that balance. So, but I think we achieved it. Nowhere in the show, like, you know, nobody has raised a voice to, like, you know, invoke patriotism in it. I feel like, you know, you can do that without shouting, like, you know, I think, and that's what makes us a little different than what has come till now.
Amazing. Lara, for you, like when these tags come along, people even start questioning an actor's politics. Tell me about that. How do you deal with all of it?
Look, we're not fictionalizing something. Where the story that we're telling is inspired and based on something that has already happened. It's history of and a part of this country, or, you know, part of this country's history. You can look at things. People will always construe or misconstrue things according to their own convenience, you know. So a lot of times, you know, patriotism is also sort of touted as jingoism and things like that. And I just feel that when we're massive content consumers, we watch things that are made from the West, and we never call it, oh, that's you know, propaganda, that's whatever. Yet when it comes to our own country, if there's something that either as an actor you do, as a filmmaker that you make, you're sort of flouted for, you know, kind of promoting this kind of propaganda and things like that. So I would suggest to people, please come watch the show. You're absolutely entitled to your own opinion, but I don't think that we should start preempting or putting it out there, because again, guys, let's go back to what we're talking about. If it's out there, then you're putting a seed or you're sowing a thought in someone's head, they're automatically going to view it from that lens. So why should we, you know, kind of encourage people to do that? Please watch the show and then have your own opinion.
Absolutely. And Lara, tell me, of course, now social media and publicity, PR has become a very common topic. Back then when you were starting out, how did you guys create a narrative about you, and did that happen or was it all real?
Thankfully for us, there was no social media at the time that I started off. I mean, I've been in the business for 21 years. So we have it a lot easier for us at that point of time. Today, I think the newcomers that come in, you know, their careers actually begin before they even have their first film or their first project released, because their entire image is built up on their social media presence and their media presence. And I said this earlier also in interviews, that there are many people, not just here but world over, whose entire careers are built on their social media presence more than what their talent is, you know. But that's the world that we live in, you know, and everything comes with its good, bad and ugly, and you need to find your own balance and figure out how you're going to navigate that. It's very much part of the world that we live in. I mean, social media is one thing. You also have AI now, which is going to become, you know, just is going to overtake everything that's around us. So that's going to be a whole nother big ball game to try and navigate. But you've got to find your balance. More than anything else, you've got to educate yourself. You need to have enough. You need to know. You need to read up. You need to experience. You need to have enough knowledge to know how to navigate things like this.
But tell me, like, how did you guys strategize your career? Was it a completely individual choice, or you had people around you who helped you?
I never had any sort of so-called advisors or anything in the business. All the choices that I've made in my life have been, I take 100% responsibility for them. And, you know, you live with the success or the failure that you've received because of those choices. Today, for me, if you ask me, I am very, very comfortable in my own skin, very comfortable in the position that I am today. I don't have any regrets for anything that I've done in the past, and I'm extremely grateful grateful for all the opportunities that I still receive.
Yeah, amazing. But what has been the best and worst decision if you in retrospect, do you think of it?
I don't think there was any real worse decision. I mean,
Yeah.
if how can I ever be ungrateful for where I am today? I think I'm in a great position doing some amazing work. So there's definitely nothing that I would say is a bad decision. Good decision is probably making possibly the choice. I never ever started off saying that, oh, I want to be a Bollywood film actress or anything like that. And I think when the opportunity presented itself in my life, I've always blessed for whatever my career and this fraternity has given me, and I think that was a wise choice.
Amazing. Santosh, talking about decision, tell me when you decided, was it always planned that this would go on OTT, because the kind of the framing is so huge, you want it on the big screen, or was it always decided that it has to be a show?
No, I mean, like when it was sanctioned as a show. But you know, it doesn't matter where it's coming, like, you know, where it's coming in the theaters or in the platform. It doesn't matter. It has to look good. It has to look correct. It has to look like, you know, acceptable for the people to watch it. And that was the motive. Like, it looks beautiful because the DOP is very good. Like, you know, we got all the technicians who are from the film background. I come from the you know, assisting like in many films, from Dharma to, like, you know, everywhere. So the aesthetics are the same, like, you know, whether you are doing it. So it's going to look like that. We never think कि हम इसको OTT के लिए बना रहे हैं या theater के लिए बना रहे हैं. हमारा काम है बनाना. And we go with that thought.
Yeah. But did you ever want कि चलो यार इसको फिल्म की तरह पिच करते rather than a series?
नहीं, ये तो sanction ही हुआ था as a series, तो उसको pitch करने की कोई बात ही नहीं होती है. You know, we made it like a film. You watch it like a film on your TV, like, you know.
Also, I think the USP of Ranneeti is the fact that it is so expansive, that the fact that we have those many hours to tell this story is why we've been able to do justice to this story.
Absolutely.
I don't think we would have been able to do that if it was a film.
Absolutely.
Lara, also tell me, I was reading another interview where you mentioned how as you grow up, you kind of getting free from the idea of glamour. But back then, how important was being glamorous and being beautiful when you started?
It was never important. It was by default. I mean, I'm a former Miss Universe. I come from the modeling industry. You can't separate that from me. But there was no concentrated effort to only be presented in that way, or neither was there a concentrated effort to veer away from that kind of presentation. I just think that we didn't, in the past, before the advent of OTT platforms in the country, when it was just the cinema experience, there weren't enough roles or there weren't enough characters that were actually depicted on screen that kind of allowed you to, you know, really drastically veer away from that. Which that landscape has changed considerably in the last 4 years, you know, and I mean, Manisha Sehgal is an extremely well put together, strong present, you know, woman. There's no de-glamorizing her just in order to present her as a powerful woman.
Right.
So I think these cliched, stereotypical norms that we got accustomed to are now slowly being chipped away, you know, and I mean, and therefore there is far more inclusion and representation, especially where women are concerned on screen.
Also, Lara, tell me, a lot of women keep saying that aging is beautiful, and there's always this side that aging is scary. As an actor who's part of the entertainment industry, how do you look at aging? And
it's scary and beautiful.
Yeah.
It's got its pros and cons. For any woman, when you're aging, you will look at yourself in the mirror every day and say, oh my God, I'm getting older. You'll wake up some days and say, God, my body just feels ancient. But there's also beauty in it. I mean, there's incredible amount of freedom that comes with just allowing yourself and accepting yourself to get older. All the nonsense, you know, falls aside. There's no more playing to the gallery. You don't need to care about what anybody thinks, or all of that kind of falls away. So there's a lot of, I think there's a lot of calmness and there's a lot of centering that comes with also getting older. You know yourself a hell of a lot better. You know what you stand for. But yeah, it goes hand in hand, and it just depends on how you decide to face it.
Amazing. And tell me one fake news about yourself that shocked you, like back in the time.
I think I'm rather a non-controversial person. I don't think there's anything about me that's come out that's like, wow, that's shocking.
Yeah.
Maybe I should create, now that I'm old and I don't care, I should create some. Oh, no.
And tell me, Lara, have you ever faced the politics in the industry? Has that ever happened where you had to face the brunt of it?
Look, I think every industry has its own politics, you know, and you will face some kind of, you know, something, some way or the other. There's no way, and I would be completely bullshitting everybody if I said, oh, it's been smooth sailing, it's all been great. Face it at different levels, but when I look back, I don't think that it really therefore made any dent in my career or made a dent in my personality or who I am or whatever. Maybe I felt bad at that point of time, and then you move forward and it's over and done with.
And lastly, everyone's talking about Ramayana. How's things shaping up?
I'm looking forward to the film as well. I think it's going to be amazing. How fun that we're actually doing Ramayana for the big screen.
Absolutely. Great. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.